Hey, welcome to Frost Sports Podcast. I am your host, FrostRaptor30 here, and today we're going to be talking about the New England Patriots free agency moves so far. Now, I want to preface, there are two parts of this episode that is going to be going out. Part one is just their signings and the moves they have done. Part two is just going to be a whole thing about the wide receiver issue and why New England needs to go after a wide receiver and kind of why that issue needs to be resolved. But today we're going to talk about the moves. It's going to be a little bit shorter of an episode, but it's going to talk about the moves they made. Mainly, I want to go over the moves I didn't talk too much about, which is Hunter Henry and Michael Onwenu. Yeah, those two were really good moves. I thought Henry was going to stay. I was very adamant that New England likes their tight ends. They have not been able to develop a tight end since Gronk, and they really needed to do it. And it was one of those positions where it's like, okay, they need to go get an outside hire and bring him in. And quite frankly, that's what they did, and it worked out. He's a really good tight end. Now, obviously, one of the newest signings is a one-year deal of Austin Hooper as tight end number 2. And this is intriguing. I was okay if they brought Pharaoh Brown back. They signed him to a one-year deal. And it seems like we're going to have a bunch of these tight ends that are just like one-year deal fill-ins to back up our starter, which is Hunter Henry. We had Pharaoh Brown, and quite frankly, Pharaoh Brown did pretty good. He, in my opinion, won us the first Jets game this year. So him basically being the factor to win that game is good enough for me to say he was a good signing. Austin Hooper is a bit different. I was really excited when he went to Cleveland because I thought Cleveland with two tight ends could be really, really good. The duo never really worked out there, so I don't know how well it's going to be, but I think he was more looked at as a number 1 role there, whereas here he's looked at as in more of a number 2 role. My hope for him is he can be more of a blocking tight end, especially with Van Pelt being very run first, and I completely understand that, which I'm all down for having a run-first team, especially with Ramondre Stevenson, and having a tight end. And if we're bringing in a rookie quarterback, I think it makes the most sense to kind of up the tight ends and try and get some blocking in there. But we'll see. I'm very happy with both these signings. I think a lot of people are going to overlook the Hooper signing. I think Austin Hooper has come to a spot that will utilize the tight end a lot, and I think it's just kind of up to him to see if he's going to get a contract extension. I don't think it would be a big extension. It might be 1 or 2 more years. But I think it could be like a very interesting duo this year with Hunter and Hooper. Which leads me to Michael Onwenu. I thought this guy was gone. I am going to be completely honest. I thought he was not going to come back as soon as we didn't tag him. I thought he was done. I'm like, guys, he's not coming back. He should be one of our 1 or 2 free agents that we should be going after, and he wasn't. I kind of figured he was not. It was going to be wide receiver and quarterback. We'll get to the quarterback, but we did. We re-signed him. The deal looks really good. He's a young guard. He's the only guy on our O-line besides maybe David Andrews who played really well last year, and he was the only guy I said. He was one of the 2 people on offense I think you can 100% bring back and feel good about. Which is good. I'm happy. We're building through the O-line. We Chuka. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his full name. But Chuka, giving him, I don't care. It's a 1-year deal. It's cheap. Fine. 100% we need to rebuild this O-line. I love the moves that we're bringing in more O-linemen and we're rebuilding the O-line with a lot of these guys because this O-line needed an overhaul. Now, David Andrews coming back is great. When you have a stable center, that is great. And you might be saying, well, why aren't we going out and getting all these, like the Jonah Johnsons or any of those guys? Why aren't we getting a Bakhtiari? Why Tyron Smith just signed with the Jets? Why didn't we do that? Because we need to get younger. That's the thing, too. Like, Tyron Smith is perfect for the Jets because the Jets are a team that isn't, win now. Sorry for the cough. By the way, but besides the point. Win now moves. That is what they are doing. Win now. Now again, their moves are very Interesting. I'm hearing Lazard's on the block. They cut Corey Davis to come out of retirement, which is weird. Just a lot of weird moves, in my opinion. The Jets they're just making weird moves. New England's moves have been young talent coming in and wanting to be a part of this rebuild. There's a lot of 1-year deals, and it's like, well, we're going to be on the same spot next year. Absolutely. But quite frankly, we're probably going to have a good chunk of cap space next year too, which we will need to re-sign Judon and other guys. But at the same time, it's like, if we don't it's like, what would you rather have? New England do nothing? Because I'll put it to you this way. If this was Bill Belichick, and I completely get the comparisons of Belichick at GM and our current staff at GM, very similar. We're not bringing in this many 1-year deals if it's Bill. I can almost guarantee you, Bill will not bring this many guys in. Austin Hooper, I could see that deal going down. Most of these guys are not coming in with Bill Belichick. And the biggest thing, and this is, I'm going to leave the biggest signing, or I should say re-signing, for last, because it warms my heart. Kendrick Bourne getting re-signed. That is, for that much money, a bit concerning. But he has been the bright light of New England. He's been really good in New England. He's been a nice number 2 option, which he still would be a number 2 option. He's number 2 to Juju Smith-Schuster. Who, again, I'll save it for the other video, but yeah, we'll see there. And also, we got rid of Devontae Parker. I don't care about the dead money. Thank the Lord. I am so glad he's gone. That was the guy I was excited for. No, that was the move that said New England is not tolerating any more of these bad contracts, and we're just not gonna, force them to work. We're not doing that. We're not forcing problems to work, which that's great. I'm very happy that we're not doing that. But yeah, the Kendrick Bourne signing I was okay with. It wasn't terrible. I don't think it is that bad, and I'm glad. And he wanted to stay. It was just, they finally found a medium ground to where they could both agree on something, and quite frankly, I'm okay with it. I really like the deal. I just hope this is not all they do. That's my only thing. I just hope that they're like, well, we got Kendrick Bourne. We did a good job. No, there's a lot to be done, especially with the receiving core. But this leads me to the run game, and the run game is, in my opinion, very interesting. So last year we had Ezekiel Elliott as RB2, and he did fine. After Ramondre went down, he still did pretty well. Like, Zeke had a fine year. For how much we paid, I think we got a good deal on him. Now, obviously, I don't think he's coming back. I don't think that's any problem with him. I just think it's like, Zeke wants a bigger deal. He wants a more long-term deal. It doesn't have to be pricey, but he wants a longer-term deal, and my head is, I'm like, no, it'd be a 1-year deal. But we signed Antonio Gibson as RB2, and there's a lot of like, oh, this is terrible, doom and gloom, Boston media just bashing it. He's an RB2 when an RB1 becomes an RB2, they're usually going to be better. Usually. Well, there were so many issues in Washington, and I'm not going to wear my rose-colored glasses and say, oh, he's going to be great. He is a nice addition as RB2. And with Van Pelt seeming to be really focusing on trying to make this run game better, and if our O-line and blocking can improve, Ramondre could run. Ramondre could finally enter the top 10 running back debate. And we'll see. And his contract's running out, which he'll get extended. Unless he has another season-ending injury, he'll be fine. But we'll see. Quite frankly, we will see with this. I'm very excited to see the running game this year. I'm very, very excited. Which then leads me to the defense. Obviously, we lost Jalen Mills to the Giants, I think. I thought it was Philly, but I think the last report was Giants. So I am so sorry, New York. You have to deal with Jalen Mills. And obviously, there are rumors of us bringing J.C. Jackson back on a very team-friendly deal. I really like that. And then there's the Anthony Simmons re-signing, which is a 3-year deal, very cheap, very low. And then we're bringing in like all these other signings, like 1-year deals, just interesting players. Like And I'm not going to go into detail about, I think this guy's good, because like I said, I think New England's defense is going to be fine. But then, and this is going to bring me a little bit to tears, because it was the Uche signing. I thought he was going to be the number one guy who would not come back. We lowballed him. And the transition tag on Duggar, it seems like we're going to get a deal done with him, which makes me happy. I'm very happy that we do. We will get a deal done with him. The Uche signing brought me so much joy, because I feel like New England, it's always been winning. It's always been coming back. It's always been there. People come back because they want to win a Super Bowl, and that aura has been dead for at least 2 years. I think that aura has kind of been dead. And Uche signed. And I'm like, okay, 1 year deal. It's got to be like $10 million. $3.5 million. That brought me so much happiness. And then he came out and said, I genuinely resigned because of Gerard Mayo. Which, when I saw that, when I heard like he wanted to run through a brick wall for Gerard Mayo, when I heard that he was all on board of like with Gerard Mayo's system, when he said this guy is a leader, this guy's this, like I love this guy and all that, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, this dude is going to I think he's going to have a breakout season. I think he's going to be good. He was good before, but I think this is going to be his breakout season. And I think Gerard Mayo's the guy. I 100%, I'll sniff the copium, I don't care. Gerard Mayo is our guy. Everything I'm hearing of, like, he's a guy, he's a good leader. I've had conversations, especially the way, like, Mac did not like New England, and then when he comes to Jacksonville, he talks about how pleasant the exit was with Mayo. Gerard Mayo is the coach we needed. As much as I think a lot of people might still be like, oh no, Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick served his time. He's a great coach. I still think he's the greatest coach of all time. I 100% believe that. Andy Reid could beat him out, but I don't know how much time Andy Reid has left in the tank. Nothing against him. It's just, I just don't know. And that's my only thing. But quite frankly, the fact of Uche taking a huge pay cut, and there were other deals on place for him. 100%. He said there were a lot of bigger contracts, and he took a hometown discount to come back to New England. Which makes me say, the culture's changed. The culture has completely changed. I think the defense is still going to be good. I 100% believe that, because we kept the majority of the core together. But the fact of the matter is, we got a actual good defensive player to come back on a team-friendly deal. And I don't think we've had that since Tom Brady. I genuinely don't think we've had that since Tom Brady. Which, it means something. It means like we're heading in the right direction. Currently, I'm going to probably wrap this podcast episode up. But I wanted to say, like, my prediction for New England this year is 7 wins. I'm going to be honest. I don't think they're going to be terrible. I don't think they're going to be garbage. I think a fresh coat of paint is going to basically make them a better team. I think this team probably should have won more games last year, too. And I think with the new culture, it's time to start looking towards the future. It's stop holding them to this championship aura or whatever. Give them time. Gerard Mayo's a freaking good coach. Like, Kraft knows it. Kraft believes in Gerard Mayo. Now, like I said, you can't expect championship in 1 year. The division got better. Like, we got to look at that. The division also just got worse this year. But we'll see. I think the draft is going to be a very key part, especially with New England holding the number 3 pick. And I didn't talk about the Jacoby signing that much, because it's just a veteran QB. I like it. I'm glad we got one, and we're not in a position to where we're going to rely on a rookie year one. I'm happy that we got Jacoby Brissett. But which is why I'm more okay with Drake May. But what I want to say, and I want to leave this message to New England fans, particularly Boston fans. I get it. Trust me, I get it. We need to be the championship team. We need to be this. Give it time. Just give it time. Because we could have been in a much worse spot. It's where I like Bill Belichick leaving. He left us with a lot of cap space and a top 3 pick. And Now we have, I think, the right coach. Managerial staff, I'm not too sure about yet, but they seem to be doing well. So I have faith in them. But I'm going to leave this off to all my New England Patriots fans. Just be patient and believe. Just do those two things. Be patient and believe. 3 years we'll be back. 2 years we could be back. We don't know. It would be nice if we could get a big free agent or get a big acquisition in New England, but if not, just be patient. We need to rebuild into a new culture. We need to rebuild into a new Patriots. If we want to be a different dynasty, we need to adapt and we need to be better. And I think we will, but I just want to leave this off as be patient. Give the head coach time. Give the team time. Give the players time. Because we're not going to be a Super Bowl contender in 1 or 2 years. I mean, I joke about it, but we're not. So, I'd like to leave it off. Please give this episode a like, subscribe, do all those fun things, and I will see you later. And don't forget, stay frosty. Have yourselves a good one.